I can see you over there.
I'm leaving.
Hey y'all. Today I wanted to do a little quick video on what I consider to be the biggest problem that people face when they engage in sort of the classic dog training route. This is my dog Lumps. She's just hanging out with me today. And helping me make a video. More like helping me make a thumbnail for the video so that it looks cute and enticing. But yeah, so what I would say is the biggest challenge that people face, or the biggest problem that they face when they engage in what I consider to be the classic approach to dog training, is the fact that they don't understand. A lot of people and a lot of dog trainers don't understand what it means to be in relationship with a dog. And what I mean by that is a lot of people tend to focus primarily on the dog's behavior. Some trainers and some people understand that they also need to understand the dogs and meet the dog's needs. I think people have a very general or elementary understanding of what a dog needs. And generally people think, okay, my dog has food, water, shelter. Maybe sometimes people focus on companionship, but I've met a lot of dogs who, spend 8 to 10 hours in a crate all day and then kind of get a little walk around the apartment building at the end of the day when their person gets home. So anyways, I want to kind of explore two different paradigms or two different approaches. One that's kind of the classic view, and one that's a little bit more, it's exactly what I kind of help people work through and understand. So I'm going to kind of use this little visual here, and this is kind of something that I teach right off the bat. And I'm recognizing that this is probably backwards in the video, but I'll kind of explain it anyways. It's essentially a pyramid with 3 levels, and I call this the pack development pyramid. So the bottom level, the foundation of developing the pack, is the relationship. Okay. And I'm going to kind of talk through these different layers in a little bit more depth in a second here. But so the bottom layer is the relationship. Okay. In my opinion, that's foundational. If you don't have that, then none of the rest of it really matters. So the next lever, or the next layer, is the dog's needs. Okay. Meeting the dog, understanding and meeting the dog's needs. And like I said, people have, in general, and these are generalized statements, but in general, people have a very sort of simplistic view of what a dog needs. They think, okay, food, water, shelter. Sometimes they understand companionship, but turns out there's a whole lot of other needs that aren't immediately obvious unless you're really looking. And then the top of the pyramid, the last little triangle, is behavior. Okay. And so the way that I explain this is that when the relationship is solid, i.e. the foundation is solid, okay, and the dog's needs are being met, cooperative behavior is the result. Okay. And chose those words very specifically, cooperative behavior. Okay. Because everything a dog does is technically behavior. Okay. We call it misbehavior when the dog's actions don't meet up with our standards, right? Or our expectations or our desires. That's what technically or usually gets called misbehavior. Okay, we've said, we set this rule and the dog didn't oblige our rules. It's misbehaving. Okay, so, and I would say that misconception is what screws most people up when it comes to training their dog. Because what they do is they take that pyramid system and they invert it. Okay, they turn the pyramid upside down. Let me see if I can, right? So now all of a sudden, the dog's behavior and the point of the pyramid is what the whole system is founded on, right? So whether or not the dog is behaving correctly is what determines whether the dog's needs will get met and whether or not they will have a good relationship, okay? And like I said, if you can just kind of picture a pyramid sort of trying to rest on that little point, what's happening, and the reason why this is so backwards, is because the dog, people buy a dog from a breeder or from, which I wouldn't recommend, or buy it as a rescue from an organization or a humane society or whatever. And when they do that, people tend to have this thought in their head that, okay, since I bought you and since now I'm paying for your food and your shelter and all this other stuff, that I'm automatically get to make all the decisions for you, right? And the dog all of a sudden is being held to a contract that it never really signed up for, right? Your dog never agreed to help you meet your needs, okay? Your dog never agreed to behave in a certain way in order to receive the food and shelter and water and companionship that you offer, okay? And when we place these expectations on the dog and we create, like I said, we put their needs being met and the strength of our relationship on their shoulders. Sorry, I'm patting Lumps. She's just laying here in my lap snoring. But that's what I'm indicating, when I'm pointing down. Let's see if I can get her in the shot a little bit there. So there she is. Anyways, that creates a lot of stress on the dog because the dog is like, shit, why am I all of a sudden responsible for my whole family's well-being and happiness? I didn't sign up for that job. And it creates frustration. It creates confusion. It creates conflict, unnecessary conflict. And so, but when we put relationship first by showing up, and what that really means is being present in the dog's life. Okay. Because if we're not present in the dog's life, yes, we can meet the dog's needs, right? We can have dog walkers come over and exercise our dogs for us. We can send our dogs off to doggy daycare. We can send our dogs off to, board and train facilities where, the dog gets trained. But if we neglect that foundation, which is the relationship, i.e. being present in the dog's life, then the family unit we're creating is going to be dysfunctional. Okay. And the dog is not, like I said, I don't really recommend board and train except in very specific situations because it doesn't improve it. Once again, it's placing the impetus or the responsibility on the dog's shoulder. It says, okay, I need my dog to behave in this very specific way. And if it's not, then it's being a bad dog. Right. But that's all something we are making up as humans. So anyways, I want to kind of wrap this up and, finish up in a sort of a concise way and kind of wrap this all into one kind of thing. The biggest problem people make when doing classic dog training is they put all of the responsibility for change on their dog's shoulders. Okay. And when we do that, we sign our dogs up for something that they never agreed to. Okay. Which is to, essentially meet our needs. Right. And so when we switch that though, we take on the responsibility of making sure that we're in relationship with them, i.e. present in their lives. Because if we're not present, we can't figure out what their needs actually are, right? Because every dog is different. Some dogs need more play. Some dogs need more cuddle time. Some dogs need, food. Some dogs need more time to exercise their brains. Dogs really like solving puzzles and playing games. And there's just a huge spectrum of different things that different dogs require in order to be really satisfied. So relationship, needs, behavior. Behavior is the result, and very specifically, cooperative behavior is the result of taking care of those two first levels. And the dog, given that the dog lives in a human world, and not out in the wild, we as their stewards or as their leaders, it's our responsibility to take care of those two levels, okay, which fosters the behavior piece, okay? That is the result. And I guess I've hammered home on that enough, but I just want to emphasize that if you're out there and you're struggling with your dog, and it might be because you have unrealistic expectations and you are inverting the pyramid. So what I would recommend is focus on improving your relationship with the dog, really getting curious about what they need, helping them meet those needs, and then that will foster cooperation from your dog. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to make a comment below. I'm going to be making more of these videos coming up. I'm on a wide variety of topics, so like and subscribe, I guess. I think that's what people say to do on these type of videos. But anyways, I'll check y'all later. My name's Alex, and this is Lumps, and see you around.